Hello, everyone, and welcome to another TLDR addiction. Been a little while this time, but glad to be back. Today, I'd like to talk with you a little bit about motivation, which is one of the most crucial factors towards changing any sort of behavior, but certainly for changing addiction. Now, there's a bit of a myth about addiction where you have to, quote unquote, hit rock bottom in order to make a change. That is not true, although it's true for some people. But really, what has to happen is that your discomfort being where you are now has to be more than the discomfort of where you're going to go. Basically, what the future holds. The kind of the idea of the devil you know, right? Being a little bit more appealing. And that the same again. It's not just for addiction; it can be for weight, right? If in terms of like when do people decide to start exercising or changing their lifestyle or eating habits? It's usually when they hit this break point where it's more uncomfortable to be the weight they're at than where than the thought of changing their lifestyle. So the question then becomes: so how do you build that motivation? And the number one thing I would say for therapists, for anyone out there where there's someone in your life who's struggling with an addiction, is help people connect the dots. Because the thing about addiction is that there's this big disconnect between when you use the substance, which might even feel good at the beginning, to when the consequence happens and when something bad happens. And so people don't always connect: because I did this, because I used this substance, this bad thing happened. And this is unlike, like if you say you touch a hot stove and you get burned really quickly. Doesn't really work that way with addiction. Sometimes you touch the hot stove and it's like, ooh, well, this kind of feels good. And it's not for a while that you actually start seeing the problems, or maybe the problems are cropping up socially, or the problems are cropping up at school. And it's pretty easy for you to just kind of say, well, this isn't the reason why. These are unrelated. And maybe even by then it started to get a hold on your brain and change some of the way that your reward pathways are firing and change how you look at it. And so it's very easy to rationalize away how the substances aren't the issue. So helping people connect the dots, seeing because I did this, because I used this substance, this bad thing happened. And this is where the term enabling comes in. Don't protect people from natural consequences. So if someone say is using, and because they're using, they could lose their car or lose their job. It might not be a bad idea to let that happen and to not like bail them out of jail or pay for their car to be repaired or make up a lie for them at work, because what that is actually doing is supporting that behavior continuing and not allowing them to see, oh, when I act in these ways, these bad things happen. So motivation, crucial in terms of any sort of behavior change. Addiction, it is the center of everything, because there's all of these biological, psychological, and social factors hold it into place. People have to realize that the real demon here, the villain, is their drug use, and there's a lot of factors that can prevent them from seeing that. Your goal has to be to help them see that. So thank you for joining me today. Always appreciate when you tune in. I'll talk to you next time on TLDR Addiction.